Hello, welcome to the Allo podcast, and thank you for joining in for this episode. And during our last episode, we spoke about Nigeria, saying that there will be no Nigeria without a vision. And we got a feedback from Israel that shared that it's not just enough for us to get our PVC, that there has to be much more that we all need to do. And I shared some insight in this episode. So sit down and relax as you listen to this episode. Ciao.
Hi, Akin. I'm Israel. I really want to commend you for this podcast. It's really an interesting one. Um, Looking at the problem, I think we should also look at the solutions. Now, people that are shouting, go and get your PVC. I don't have issues with getting PVC. We've been voting before now, but should we only look at getting PVC now? Because voting has been the system before, and it doesn't take away the problem. It doesn't change the narratives. What other things can be done? Look at what happened in 2020, the SARS protest and the way it ended. It's really sad. Now we are just looking at the PVC, voting and voting. Does that really help, or will that solve our problem? Well, thanks so much for your time and have a nice week, Aki.
Oh, thank you so much, Israel, for your response to my podcast. And so I just want to address the different issues you raised in this podcast, and just so that we can find some form of convergence, right? All right. So one of the first things I want to point out is, first of all, how can we be politically engaged? And in my own opinion, I would say that having your PVC is not enough. Registering to vote is not enough. What is required is us being engaged in the whole political process before, during, and after every election. Now, over time, I've realized that we talk about getting your PVC and also getting INEC to strengthen its processes in terms of every election cycle. But then, um, in as much as on the technology part of it and in terms of the transparency and accountability part of the electoral process, that still doesn't help solve a lot of problems in terms of us getting the right leadership. One of the best ways to get the right leadership is for us to actually get engaged in politics. So the question is, how many Nigerians really want to be engaged in politics? It's always easier to blame. It's always easier to sit back and taunt the people that are actually engaging politically, right? And somehow, in most circle of our national national existence, it makes it look like politics is a dirty game. However, we cannot shape policy if we are not part of the politics. And there is no time than now to actually be much more engaged in our politics. And this is why we all have our different endeavors. Most of us are engaged in business, most of us have a career, most of us are well articulated and well read. But would we say that, in as much as we are well read, are we um, are we getting the right caliber of leaders that actually mirrors who we are? To a larger extent, the Nigerians are well read, even though yes, there are a few challenges here and there where you can say, oh, some places people don't go to school that much and all of that stuff. But it's not just about going to school, it is about being educated. And being educated is every aspect of your life being coherent through the education you got. And so, the first point of call for me is how do we get people engaged in politics, which, as I said earlier, is beyond us getting the PVC, and that would help us to get the kind of convergence we want in our national life as a country. And so there's also the need that as we get engaged, it helps in tearing down the old foundations and building new ones. It helps in um, bringing new set of people, raising new set of leaders, and also believing in ourselves as well that we also have the capacity to lead in um, different circles, in different political circles, either as a councillor, as a local government chairman, as a member of the state house of assembly, as a member of the house of representatives, or as a senator, even as a governor, and as far as you go through the process as a president. But it's always easier to sit back and not do anything. And just as you said, having a PVC is not just enough, but it also requires that the kind of engagement we have, even in the political space, have to be enriching and has to be tailored around building a lasting future for our country and for the electorate. So, the case of Nigeria has been that we built our country around we built our country around this perspective of it's for some people, it's not for us. One of the things I learned growing up was that anybody has the capacity to be a leader. In as much as you can lead yourself, you can be a leader in any capacity. And so it's really a wake up call that in as much as we get our PVC, we also have to get engaged politically and so as to shape policies. We can't shape policy if we are not part of the system. If we are out of that system, we have to be in the system to shape the policies to bring about the needed change. So it's a collective effort. We've dwelled on individual brilliance for too long, and I think it's about time that we begin to take that collective effort for national growth and development. Thank you so much, Israel, and thank you all for joining today's podcast. And to join me some other time. Cheers.